For the last 2 months, I've been mowing my grass with one of the coolest looking robot lawnmowers on the market. The Lidax Ultra 2000 from Mova is an interesting robot because it's value priced to compete at the entry level, but it's got some straight up premium features that are usually only found on the high-end robots. LiDAR is the gotta have it feature this year, and this mower's got it. That means setup is quick and easy, navigation is accurate and localized, and overall this robot is fairly simple to use. But it's not all rainbows and butterflies either. There's a few things that surprise me about this robot, and not necessarily in a good way. I'll break it down for you, tell you what this mower does well, and I'll give you 2 things you have to know before buying one that might just save you a bunch of money. Setup with this mower, or LiDAR-based mowers in general, is getting insanely easy. I know it sounds like a marketing bullet point, but it really is simple and only takes a few minutes. I'm setting mine up in the garden alongside my barn, and the dock just needs a vaguely level surface. There is absolutely no need to have a clear view of the sky like a GPS-based RTK mower. It could be on a covered patio or under dense shade. It doesn't matter. It gets screwed into the ground with these coarse thread landscape screws, and I'm doing it by hand with the included tool just to prove that it's possible. Using a drill and a bit is obviously faster, and that works great too. The power cord gets plugged into an outlet, and I have a little hub back here for all my robots, but still plenty of space for the Lidax Ultra 2000. Yeah, I gotta roast the name just a little bit because it's kind of long and a little bit cringe, but the number actually means something. There's a Lidax Ultra 1000 as well. It has to do with the overall capacity, and the 1000 is rated at a quarter acre, but this is the 2000 and is rated at half an acre. More on that in a minute. With my dock installed, it's time to carry little buddy over and shove him onto his new home, and when the blue power light shifts to green, charging is a go. The lift sensor was triggered during the carrying part, so I had to clear out that trouble code with the pin that I obviously forgot and I had to look up off camera. So that's the hardware setup, and I told you it was going to be super easy. There was an update waiting for me after powering on, and that's really cool because the product can actually get better over time through software updates, much like your phone. It can also get worse too, but for my testing, I always run the most current software, so I always do all the updates. I'm gonna build my map, and this might be a hot take, but auto mapping, that's a premium feature included on the Lidax, is possibly the most overhyped feature in robot lawnmowers. It's a feature that lets the mower run wild and determine the boundary or the mowable area, and it works okay if you have clearly defined edges like sidewalk to grass, but I really don't, so it doesn't really work for me. I always prefer to drive the robots by remote to do the mapping. It just works better, it's way more accurate, and I never have any problems with that method. To start, the robot will back off the charging dock, whip a 180 to calibrate, and then it's go time. It prompts you with a brief lesson or some tips and tricks, which I obviously skip over, and then mapping is just driving the robot around and showing it the perimeter of your area. Now I'm having this robot mow my side yard, and there's long grass, weeds, holes and dips, steep inclines, plus lots of uneven, lumpy ground. It's no manicured lawn is what I'm trying to say. I gave it the worst area of my lawn because I want to test the most underrated feature, and that's two-wheel drive. This bot is running swivel casters up front, and the drive wheels are out back with some aggressive tread. I think two-wheel drive robots are great because they're super gentle on the grass, and I feel like most people, much like cars, don't actually need all-wheel drive. But with this terrain, we're about to find out. All right, it's mow time, and to be honest, the first mow was pretty rough, but that's on purpose. For testing reasons, I don't spend a lot of time making my maps and creating no-go zones or areas to avoid. I map a perimeter and send the bot out to see what it's capable of. I'm not mapping trees or bushes to go around or anything like that. I want to see what the capability is like with the bare minimum inputs from me. The first mow was completed, but I found a bunch of obstacles, and the map afterwards was completely lit up with hazards. I have a culvert by my driveway, and the robot definitely found that and launched headfirst into the hole and got stuck on the first mow. So when that happens, I make that area a no-go zone. I basically design a perimeter around that hazard so that the next time the robot mows, it doesn't keep going in there and getting stuck. Pretty simple. Because the grass was long and the terrain was rough, I changed a few settings in the app to help the robot mow better based on what I was asking it to do, which is cool because it's all customizable. The first thing you'll see on the settings menu is ground speed. I'm switching that to efficient so it drives as fast as possible. Mow height is getting bumped up, and it's automatically changed with a movable cutting disc, so there's no manual turn knob on the robot itself. It's all done through the app. It also goes from 1.2 at the lowest setting to 3.9 inches on the high end. That's a ton of range for mowable height, and it's not found on most robots, and I love to see that. Mowing angle is easy to change, and I always like to aim my stripes at my neighbors, and I have the checkerboard pattern selected too, so it'll cross-cut the first mow at a 90-degree angle. I changed the sensitivity of object detection too because it was seeing tall weeds and thinking that they were objects to drive around instead of mowable grass. This rough terrain was proving difficult for the Lidax Ultra 2000, and I was getting the error message that the robot was stuck on a few occasions. They always give you tips and tricks to fix the reason for the error message, but mine were all pretty obvious. There are some super deep tire tracks by the Charger because some jackass drove his truck through here in the spring when the ground was really wet and rutted it all up. It was me. I'm the jackass. So if the robot fell into those ruts, it would get high centered and get stuck. Totally understandable, and Mova claims a 1.6-inch obstacle clearance capability, and I found that to be fairly accurate. Holes in ruts that are deeper than 1.6 inches may be problematic, along with height and elevation changes that are greater than 1.6 inches. And you should try to smooth out and address those areas for the most problem-free mowing experience. I ended up bringing some fill dirt into that area and smoothing it out a bit to avoid future issues of a trapped mower. There were also a lot of straight up holes in the ground from old tree stumps. Those proved problematic at first too, because if those front casters dropped in, it would get caught on the body and not be able to drive out. I filled in a few stump holes as well, but here's the thing. After I fixed some problem areas that any robot would have trouble with, it worked flawlessly and just started mowing. Once I was up and running, reliability was impressive, and I got very few error codes or trap messages after those initial mows. Most of the time, it would simply roll off the Charger, mow the area, go back automatically for recharges, and continue the pattern until the entire area was finished. Recharges take about an hour to complete, and mowing at night is definitely possible with the LiDAR system, even though there isn't a headlight, and it's extremely quiet too, so there's no issues there. How did the finished area look after mowing? Actually pretty good. Stripes are straight and look great, basically laying down laser beams over here, and there really wasn't too much missed grass with the cross-cut checkerboard pattern enabled. So this mower is legit, but like any product, there's pros and cons. So let's get into some of those. For pros, reliability is really impressive. I basically torture tested this thing in rough terrain, which it really isn't designed for. My yard has holes, long grass, thick weeds, inclines, drop-offs, and for the most part, after I fixed a few spots, it made the area look like a well-manicured lawn. And that's pretty cool. The app is designed really well, and sometimes you have to page through menus to find what you want, but the Mova app was really well laid out and fairly intuitive. Not always the case with robot lawnmowers. The two-wheel drive works pretty good too, despite occasionally picking up some sticks in the rear wheels. That was possibly the biggest factor with the two-wheel drive. It wasn't really a traction issue, but getting sticks caught in the wheels proved to be a bigger problem. You want the wheels to have that spiky tread for traction, but pine cones and sticks can get lodged in there too, and if the stick is big enough, it'll jam things up and stop the mower. The price combined with what you get make this robot a great value too. That's kind of the theme of the Mova brand in general. Now I know you want to hear the cons, so here we go. The biggest con is that mowing takes a really long time. Now I know what you're thinking, that if you're not doing the mowing yourself, then you really don't care how long it takes. And that's true to an extent. What you have to think about is that mowing wet grass usually doesn't perform as well as mowing dry grass, so the dew in the morning might push your start time back, and dew again in the evening might create a smaller mowing window than you're thinking. I've mapped about 8,200 square feet on my side yard here, so just under 1/5 of an acre, and it takes many hours with multiple recharges to finish the mowing task. This robot is capable of mapping up to a half an acre, and I really wonder how long an area that big would actually take. I mean, it can mow through the night, but still. One contributor to the mowing time is the cutting path width. It's a single disc design that's only about 8 inches wide, so it takes many passes back and forth to add up to measurable area cover. Larger robots like the Mova Lidax Ultra 3000 all-wheel drive have dual cutting discs side by side, so that makes things quite a bit faster. I live on a 2-acre lot, so even though this robot isn't a great fit for me and my property, the reliability and the ease of use makes it a great contestant for someone looking for a value mower that punches above its weight class in features and tech. If you've got half an acre or less of grass and you're tired of mowing and you're ready for some automation to take back your time, definitely check this robot out as a budget-friendly, viable solution. If you want to see some of my other robot reviews for larger yards, check out these videos here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.